Bang, let's jam. Hi, how you doing? It is not Wednesday, which has extremely thrown me for a loop. You're saying hello to everybody here. But we're here on the High
Yeah,
Shelf Collective channel. Ignore whatever messages there were in the startup screen.
that's right.
You didn't see
We're
them.
gonna we cut those out in post anyway.
The rerun.
Yes.
It's all good.
That's right,
Cut those out in
folks.
post.
You've tuned into a rerun of
Brindlewood Bay.
Brindlewood Bay, and we're gonna play it for you live as a rerun, simulcast.
Brindlewood Bay is recorded live in front of a studio audience.
That's right, in March 6th. So yeah, we're gonna do some Brindlewood Bay tonight. But High Shelf Collective, we're busy. We're doing a bunch of stuff. We got this going on tonight. This is our spooky month. Brindlewood Bay is a spooky game, so Mike agreed to come back and run another session of it. For those who don't know, Brindlewood Bay is made by the good folks over at the Gauntlet, right? The Gauntlet
Yep.
made Brindlewood Bay as well, yeah.
Gauntlet Publishing. Jason Cordova wrote it. And then there's a bunch of other mysteries from another source book that are by other people, but this is from, I believe, the core rulebook. It's not labeled as somebody else.
Ooh, we're going for a core mystery, not one of those newfangled fan-made.
Not
mysteries.
one of the Nephews in Peril additional mysteries.
So good.
Those are so good. Those are so good. So yeah, and then obviously we also have a lot of other stuff going on. We have some really exciting merch that has recently come out. Katrina, can you talk a little bit about the merch? Oh, the merch stitch is like super cozy hoodies. That's the
These
word
hoodies are
around
so
town,
good.
is that the hoodies are to die for.
Yeah, definitely. If you are into the hoodie game, get a hoodie from T Public because they are choice. But yeah, regarding merch, we have merch up at Redbubble and T Public. Various housewares are available on Redbubble. Should you want like a duvet cover or a shower curtain, the apron I hear is a hot commodity.
Yeah, the apron looks like pro barbecue apron.
The apron. I'm getting a drunkle apron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think Blair's getting a wine. I think she's committed to a wine ant apron.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. We just need to find out the third person that's going to get the nibbling.
The nibbling apron. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nibblins don't get to cook so much.
Yeah.
They're nibblins.
I mean, I think obviously it has to go to John, right? Like if we're going to go to the most obvious place, it's John. But yeah, so like Ethan was just saying, we just released the Wine Ant Drunkle nibbling collection, as you will, on both sites. And then our other HSC merch is also available. Oh, and Bitch You Shall Receive is also available on both sites. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, I have it on a shirt. Yeah, that's the merch sitch. We got a couple other things coming up soonish. So yeah, we'll keep you all informed.
Yeah, totally. And we also have obviously other shows happening. This whole month is all full of spooky shows. And I get to pass this over to Ethan because Ethan gets to talk about the spooky shows.
That's right.
Happening in Spooky Month.
But you don't get your cool background this time.
I don't get. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So tonight we're here. Tomorrow night, if you like Mike, show up again tomorrow because
this is your week.
Mike's back. This is your week. This is your week. This is your Mike week. There's Mike cubed. We got Trophy Dark tomorrow night. This time in space.
Yes.
This is a fun twist.
Project Galileo.
No giants or goose transformations.
Maybe. You don't know that.
You don't know that for sure. But whatever is happening, this time it's on Mars. So
I would absolutely murder just FYI a space-based fairy tale game, but carry on.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
But the people that are going to be in that, it's just going to be amazing.
Yeah,
right.
We've got Blair who's in it, and we've got Rich, and we've got maybe Mike, maybe Heather.
Probably Mike, though, but yeah.
Probably Mike, but we've got an alternate in there. But somebody from that particular house on planet Earth will be streaming to you live on the internet.
Get used to that background, folks. You'll see it again.
Well, in the Trophy Dark game is broken up into like rings, right? You start like on an outer ring, you work your way in, right, as the mystery becomes unfolded. My money's on y'all don't make it to the last ring. My money's on Rich is gonna do something.
So there is that thing in Trophy Dark where eventually, when your characters like embraced too much badness, your survival depends on you starting to turn on the party, and I think that's where it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
get real good, especially with Richard there.
Yeah.
Ethan
Yeah.
wouldn't know anything about
The
that.
betrayals at the last session that we just went live on YouTube. The
Yeah,
betrayals
you
at the
two,
end were
Yes.
so good.
both of
It
you.
was
It
pretty
was
good.
so good.
Um, but yeah, so that's tomorrow night. Coming up next Tuesday, the 19th, we've got our sort of second half of Junction City that Scott's running. If you like Beanie Babies and corpses in your tool shed, then you will love that game, because just we're the Jekyllsons, that's who we are. We're the Jekyllsons, and Jekyllson's got a Jekyll. And I think the next thing we're doing is going to a barn party that both the adults and the teens were invited to, because apparently that's how things go down in the small town Midwest.
It's gonna be great. I mean, I've seen that episode of Schitt's Creek. I know how that goes.
Right? Yeah. That's pretty much what it is. It's wild. But yeah. So that's Tuesday. Then Wednesday, back for Red Markets. Thursday, Urban Shadows. And then of course next Saturday we got Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And that's through the 23rd. What more do you want from me here?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Keep going. There's another week left.
I got this calendar. Just like right in front of me. It's
just
great.
popping.
Mike just wants to take a nap. Like, that's all. Mike just wants next Friday to get where you just take a nap.
Yeah.
It's a crammed day for like, oh my god, what the hell is a Brindlewood Bay? Then I get tomorrow for like, oh my god, what the hell is a Trophy Dark?
I hear it's a candle. Sorry, inside joke.
No, it's good.
Yes.
So I think at this point, Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you bring us into the world of the Mavens.
We all remember.
Of Brindlewood Bay. Their murder mystery book club.
How do we play this game?
There
Mike?
hasn't been Tumblr fandoms about us for months now since the last time we played. So everybody remembers the characters.
Yes. The fanfic
But just in
stories
case
have
somebody
started to
doesn't.
die down. Yeah. Yes, so Brindlewood Bay is a dark and cozy mystery game. It is strongly influenced by mystery shows from the 80s like Murder, She Wrote, where, older women investigating murders, which just happen all the dang time. Don't know why, just does. But yeah, everybody here lives in the town of Brindlewood Bay, surprise, on the coast of Massachusetts. I think we said you're the third tallest lighthouse in the state.
Not anymore.
Didn't we?
I think we were second, and some people may have.
We were
changed
third.
that.
We were third, and then maybe now we're second.
Right, because we messed with the
Faversham.
another town.
Yeah.
Not Watchtower, Lighthouse.
Stuff went down at the lighthouse in Faversham after judging the fudge competition. Yeah, it's a busy night. But yes, we are here. We are in Brindlewood Bay. Most of the tourists have gone home for the season because it's October. So I think, in Brindlewood Bay, the TV show, this is it's coming back from being on hiatus for a little while, and we get the little vignette scenes where we see all the different murder mavens here from your book club, where you all read the same novels from this one particular author. And I think we get a shot where each of you is in front of your house, and I'd like to get each of you to take a second to just describe a little bit about what your house looks like and what it is that you're wrapping up doing to decorate it for Halloween.
Okay, so Francis's house is like a craftsman home, built in the 1920s, where you go to the craftsman mail order thing and they'd ship you a bunch of sticks and you'd sit there and build a house, right, with real beautiful finely crafted banners and stuff around a porch and all that kind of stuff. It's this white house with black trim, and she, for Halloween, has dedicated the front yard to a black pumpkin patch. And so there are pumpkins everywhere that used to be, festive colors, yellows and whites and oranges. And she is just now done pouring the last bit of black paint over the last pumpkin. So there's this just this black drizzle that goes down. So you can kind of see the original color of every pumpkin. But instead it is just this streaks of black and pools of black all around every pumpkin. They look like, I don't know, little oil derricks out on an oil field, but just pumpkin shaped, and she kind of drops the paint bucket there, and there's paint all over her and all over the stuff around her, and she just kind of is given a little bit of a that'll do.
Nice.
Opal is very much not that. If you could call it cozy Halloween, then I think that's probably the best name for it. She has a small cottage house with the van out front, of course. And her decor is not carved. The pumpkins aren't carved, but they are definitely the oranges and yellows and browns. She's got a nice wreath, probably made it herself. But it's just kind of just cozy and charming and not scary in the slightest whatsoever. It definitely says, please come take all the candy that will be in the bowl out front. It's definitely very inviting. That's a lie. Opal definitely opens up the door until 10 o'clock at night to give candy to children, even the older ones. But yeah, I think it's just very nicely decorated.
Okay.
So Mavis, because Mavis is, as I'm sure I've expressed before, is just an amalgamation of all of the elderly women that taught me in high school. And I have the perfect one for this. This is my 9th grade physical science teacher. But Mavis, the outside of the house is one of those very New England kind of Cape Cod style homes where it's a funny colors and it's got the nice little deck and stuff like that around it. But Mavis is setting out life-size replicas of various horror movie figures that normally she has in her basement or a closet, but during Halloween they come out, and so Mike Myers is standing slightly behind a tree in the yard, and then Ghostface is peeking out from behind a tree kind of deal. There's the jigsaw on the tricycle next to the sidewalk kind of, and it's all of these life-size replicas. My 9th grade physical science teacher had so many life-size horror movie replicas in her home.
Wow. Is it the thing where it's
it
is the jumpsuit, but the thing inside the jumpsuit is just kind of flat? So it still kind of hangs, or is it fleshed out body, mannequin style?
These were mannequins. These were full models. Wow. It was wild.
Not only does Opal hate it, I hate it.
That's what Mavis has around, but it's only the bad guys. There's no helpless.
Can Francis borrow your life-size Chucky and have him just randomly placed behind one of the pumpkins?
Yes, absolutely. The more the merrier. I mean, but yeah, Mavis has this collection of just because her cozy activity is antiques and furniture, and so part of that is movie memorabilia, because those eventually become antiques, right? So
sure.
Something like that. So yeah, there's all these weird. She's got some in her house too, for sure. There's a nice pinhead just hanging out in a corner somewhere. I'm just pulling killers from DVD at this point.
I was gonna say, this sounds like
Jason is somewhere. Jason Voorhees is somewhere. I don't know where. Probably on the back porch, staring in the window.
Why? But why?
Keep it interesting. Keep things interesting.
For all the kids from Halloween that you invite inside the house to be scared. No, that's not happening.
Or it's actually for people who are on the the street that runs like behind the house, just to like do that double take of like, why is there a large man standing on the back porch staring in the window? Oh, and of course, anytime I do a cozy vignette, there is actually some kind of weird shadow or dark entities that are subtly revealing themselves as I'm putting up fake dark entities.
There's two ghost faces at a moment, and then you're like, oh no, there's just one.
One of them has like a Party City costume. The other one has like one that's a little too real.
You're out there setting things up by like the front gate, and like the ones that are already farther back in the yard, we see like the eyes like following you. Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
It's perfect. Yeah. I had some wild teachers in high school. I don't.
clearly.
So Irene's house is an old Victorian. She markets it as Victorian style because when the neighborhood went up, there was like a Victorian revival going on. So like a lot of the houses are all like Victorian style houses. Irene's is original. It's just been really well refurbished and modernized. So it's like lighter weight. So everyone's like, oh, that's just one of the new builds, but it's not. It's the old one with the servant stairs and everything. And I think she would have decorated the outside with like tastefully done. Lots of like spider webs, lots of fake spider webs everywhere. It's very spider web forward. And there would be like a really big fake spider web that's like made out of like rope and twine and things like between some trees in the front yard with a skeleton in it. And I think skeletons would be the other thing. It's very spider web and skeleton forward, but the skeletons would be like doing things around the yard. And every so often she would change it up because like, no, that's not quite right. And so if you walk past lots of times, it does give the illusion that like the skeletons are moving around and doing things because they're like always in different positions.
Like they weren't over there before.
And most of them are doing like vaguely skeleton shit, like poking out of the ground or climbing the walls or trapped in the web. And then occasionally there's just like one that's got like sunglasses and a Hawaiian shirt lounging on the front porch. So it's like some of them, she was like, this is just going to be the fun skeleton who's doing something goofy. He's mowing the lawn at one point and
That's the hose.
Yeah, as the hose, exactly. But it's hooked up to like the fountain, so it still it just continually cycles through. But it's all very artful. And I think the front, because it's a big house and it's got kind of like an entryway, the front entryway is also decked out with like spider webs and skulls and things. So that way, when Halloween finally comes, she can have like a punch bowl, like a warming cider bowl for the parents, and everyone can kind of come in for a moment and get something to drink and a little snack and get their candy and then move on to the next house.
Excellent. So yes, we're all here to celebrate the reason for the season, clearly. Got our decorations. The trees have started to turn, the leaves have started to fall, but out here on the Cape, you don't get a lot of like the people who go out here to try to view the foliage. So you all have been invited to a party. There is a gentleman by the name of Abner Vidal. He used to make movies. He retired from Hollywood to Brindlewood Bay, and he is well known for being a famous producer of Gonzo B-grade horror movies. And he's retired to Brindlewood Bay, and you all have been invited. All the members of the Murder Mavens have been invited to his Halloween party. So yeah, it's the evening of the party. You've probably all carpooled in the van. You arrive here at like one of the larger houses in Brindlewood Bay to begin with. For this party, there are cars all over the place. It's a place to be. So as you approach Abner's home, What ostentatious thing do you see outside that reminds you that Abner doesn't fit in with Brindlewood Bay's stuffy upper crust? Also, tell me about your costumes. Because, of course, it's a costume party. What else would it be for Halloween?
I know what Mavis's costume is for sure.
Okay.
Original Bride of Frankenstein. Like the pale gray skin, got the bolts, and then like the big hair.
With like the wavy white stripes up the side?
Yeah, with the wavy white stripe. That's for sure what she went for. Because you know it's a little fun. It's having a little fun. Maybe more like almost more like a Munster style, where it's a little dressed up. It's not like totally just sackcloth. You know, we're gonna burn down the windmill or whatever kind of deal. It's like it's a little more formal than that. I don't know if the Bride of Frankenstein was in the Munsters, but yeah, you know what I mean. Was it? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Was she? I think.
Yeah, kind of.
Anyway, yes.
Who was in
So what is something that you see here that shows you that Abner is like not the same as the other people who are like in the upper crust here?
Oh, yeah, she was. So like, so just something that just shows that like he doesn't fit in.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Oh, I think just like a big sort of like lawn sculpture piece with just an obnoxious amount of moving parts. Like it is just so overly complex and like tacky that like no one would ever have that. Like it's like 16 whirligigs with a perpetual motion machine built in. It's like the most ridiculous thing you can imagine. Like, and it is gone beyond kitsch, beyond camp. It's just tacky.
Okay. And that's something that's like here in his yard full time year round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool.
It's like an installation that he's super proud of because he got like some artist to like just come put it in. He just refuses to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's out there. It probably needs to be oiled. Like it kind of like makes a little bit of a squeaking noise sometimes, but it's like, like all the parts here rotate, and then like the whole thing spins around.
Yeah,
a little bit like when it does it right now. Somebody's got to get out there with a WD-40 or sometime. So, who else knows what their costume is?
I know what Francis's costume is, for sure.
Okay.
Francis is dressed in a white, like flowing dress. Well, it was white. It's now kind of a grainy gray. And she is dressed as the black and white movie Nosferatu, his love interest in the movie.
So Nosferatu, presumably.
Yeah, indeed. Well, no. I'm not dressed as Nosferatu. I'm dressed as his love interest in the movie.
Oh.
The woman in the white dress that he stalks. And she has 2 bite marks, 2 little puncture wounds on her neck. But instead of blood, it is like fudge chocolate, like Hershey's syrup. Because in black and white, when you want to do blood, you just get yourself some Hershey syrup. You don't go and make blood. You just Hershey syrup. That's all you need.
It's just got to be dark. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So that's what she's dressed as the original. And like she has to keep explaining it, right? Because nobody. This is like exactly where Francis needs to be. Is a costume that is way too far into the artsy scene, and she has to constantly explain it. And it's like, yes, this is Hershey's, but it's she has all that already in there. And she is all of her makeup is black and white, so it like the eyeshadow and all that kind of stuff is overdone. Her eye makeup is overdone as if she's dressed for a black and white film set.
Okay. I can dig it. And what's something that you see here in Abner's yard that sets him apart from his neighbors?
Gosh, I think that Abner is a filmmaker, right? Like he did
Yes.
B horror movies. Okay. Um, then I think that Abner has a like over the top sized fountain that the primary object of this fountain is a picture, is him, is his statue, right? And all arrayed around his feet are like the iconic monsters and creations of his various movies. Um, and the fountain itself is not one of those like big splashy ones that like shoots water high in the air. It's like this like drizzle of like of water that just like slowly falls over his body on its way down, and it gives it this like constant sheen. You know, and like he has totally explained this to everybody that it is a sign of his like sweat and his perseverance and how he like poured himself into every work, right? And like if you give Abner a second, he will explain why his fountain has this constant sheen to it. And I'll say that's him.
Yeah. Cool. Irene Noble.
I can go.
Still need to find out what you're
maybe.
wearing.
Okay,
Yeah.
Opal will go. Opal purchased a costume online. She wanted to be a witch, a witch for Halloween with the hat and, kind of like Wicked Witch of the West, sort of. But that's not what she got. She got kind of halfway slutty a witch. So too tight, very tight of a like dress and bodice. There's a hat, but it's like velvet. It's like a purple velvet pointed hat, and a cloak, just for shits and giggles. It's Halloween. She looks actually like kind of comfortable in it. Like it's a Halloween party. Well, she does anyway, like for the first moment you saw her, but after that it was just like trying to like cover herself up in as many ways as she could. Yeah, that's dear old Opal. And there's so much velvet, guys. It's just all like crushed velvet. She paid way too much for this thing. Like any of you could have told her, don't, and she thought she'd surprise you.
Opal is single-handedly keeping Spirit Halloween in business. Yeah, like that's.
But like the expensive, like whatever the most expensive thing.
Yeah.
Slutty old witch.
Is it fair for Frances to have called her brave at some stage? And like sincerely mean it as brave. Like I know that right now it's used as kind of as a dig, but like for Frances, like wow, that is very brave. That is incredible. Like Frances, like I wish I was this brave. Is that
it's the
that
woman
too
with
much?
the
Is that fair?
Hershey's chocolate. No, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
As for what is in this man's yard, I think he has a miniature replica of the Hollywood sign, complete with like the trails that like lead up to it and like accurate dimensions of the hills behind it. But like in, I don't know, 1/5 size or whatever sound is correct with measurements. But it's all like glowing as it should. And goddamn, if you ask him about it, he'll tell you about how it's not just Hollywood, it's the Hollywood land. It's supposed to be like, he'll give you the whole history about it. But to keep it to, you got to keep it like Hollywood. But here's the real story. Yeah. That's what I got.
Absolutely. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it is absolutely lit completely up for like, I mean, there's visitors coming over. It is tiny little scale spotlights at the bottom. Whole deal.
Love it.
Irene's costume is a screen accurate costume from Scream. Mask and all, fake knife. And she shows up like in the mask and everything.
This is
She's
her
got
way
the
to like
walk down.
sneak a blade into the building.
It's my emotional support dagger. But she definitely she wears like the mask the whole time. And if possible, like if there's moments at the party where people are just like hanging around in character. She's been working on the impression, she's been working on the walk, she's been studying the mannerisms, the posture, just preparing for this role. Mostly because Irene never does things by halves, but also partly because it is such a gonna be such a filmy scene. She's like, I want to show my acting chops as well in this environment. So
Oh my
it's
god,
great.
can we please like have a subtle but then later not so subtle competition between our two characters to act
Oh, absolutely.
excellent?
I have a clarifying question though. I have like two. Which Scream? The original, the OG Scream?
Yeah, it'll be the OG.
Damn it, he took his headphones off and I was trying to make a joke. God damn it, David. And then is it Skeet Ulrich or Dave's body double? That because I can't remember. I also cannot remember his name right now.
Oh,
I will say
Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
I will say, because I don't know anything about Scream beyond that Matthew Lillard was in it, it'll be the Matthew Lillard one. But if pressed, in the moment, she might switch up characters to throw people off and see who notices. To see if they can tell which Scream she is.
Fabulous.
And
Just the timing of the joke, David. Damn it.
Infants,
Yeah.
no sense of comedy.
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
Infants over Matthew Lillard jokes. Sorry.
You know,
Zero comedic timing.
I wish I was here for a Matthew Lillard joke. Then I could do it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I could do it.
That's okay. It's just about the whole thing about the real secret to comedy is timing. And so for what I see in what Irene sees in the front yard, I think it's not going to be a permanent feature. It's just going to kind of be more like the ambiance. And it's going to be the fact that we have it's a nice van, but a bit beat up. But the fact that it doesn't stand out as being odd, because I think like if you go past the cars, you can tell this is a film scene party because there are like actual legit rolls parked outside. And also there's like an old VW bus that is really beat up. And so like the people, I think as you were driving up, because people are always constantly arriving at these parties when it's in a television show, it's like a real eclectic group of people. Like you can tell these aren't the ritzy Ritz, oh, everyone's got a Cadillac. It's like it runs the gamut of that car does not pass road safety, and that car is worth more than Brindlewood Bay. Like it runs the whole spectrum.
And also I kind of get the sense that like there are people from out of town here. He doesn't have locals. These are like, yeah, okay, cool. That's cool.
They're all very exotic people. I think like we always joke about all the side characters are played by big
Very
name
attractive,
celebrities.
famous actors.
But I think in this case, legitimately, this would be the episode that has like a big get, like, oh, that's actual Snoop Dogg, you know?
Starring as himself.
Yeah,
Snoop
it's like
Dogg
the one episode per season they got like a fairly well-known actor just to show it.
Exactly, playing as himself. Like there would be actual celebrities at this party. It's big names, and that's what's really weird. And also like hippie movie producers who you would not recognize, but like every single thing they've done.
Taika Waititi's here. What? Taika, I love your work.
Why are you in Brindlewood Bay on this evening, of all places?
He's a
Extra
very
research.
interesting. He's a very interesting filmmaker. So I'm sure he'd show up in a weird party.
Mhm.
It's either that or Jermaine Clement. It's one of the two. It's one of the two.
It's both, but they came separately for different reasons. It's really weird.
Like, oh, I did good at, yeah, right.
Before we go further, were we supposed to do pick the beginning of session marks? So, like,
Oh yes,
did you
we're
share
supposed
your
to pick like
wisdom with
XP triggers. Yes. Like I said, this game has rules. That's yeah.
What?
I thought we were
But
just
yeah.
here to be fun only.
Funnel days get XP.
Just pretend. You just tell us that we did well. Did we play good?
Yeah.
Did we play your game right?
You did good, kids. All right.
That's all we
I
get on
was-
Wednesday nights.
I will say that my two, we obviously always have did the Murder Mavens solve a mystery, just to remind the audience. We knew
Yep.
that, but just in case you didn't. And then I'm going to mark 2. I'm going to show someone that I've still got it, which I would have chosen before I decided that I am being a screen accurate screen.
Okay.
And I think, it's so tempting when dressed as a serial killer to secretly undermine the authority of a local official.
I mean, yes. Yes.
In one way or another. But I think I will say, because this is going to be a hopping party, there's going to be people of all ages here. Did I share my wisdom with a young person? And those are going to be my 2 triggers that I will definitely get by the end of the game.
I've got to behave like a woman half my age and show someone that I've still got it, because Mavis is gonna party.
Still got it.
Mavis is gonna party.
Did you share a memory of a late family member? My go-to. And did you share your wisdom with a young person?
Okay.
I obviously have to go with undermine the authority.
I'm going to punch a cop.
Yeah.
Or somebody dressed as a cop. I don't care which.
Oh God, no. Francis, that's just a stripper. Get him away, dear.
Yeah.
Andy.
That's so good. Oh my god. Because of course Francis would do that. Oh man. And I think that I think she's also gonna try and prove that she's still got it. Show somebody that she's still got it.
By the end of this party, we are going to all have got it.
Whatever it is, we'll have gotten it.
It's like, oh man, it's like our first crash the system. just trying to get it.
Let's
Trying to get it, man. Just trying to get it.
That was Gavin's character, right?
Yeah, so
That was Gavin's character. He was just
Yeah.
trying to get it, and whatever it was, it's like, that's
Got
it.
Yep.
Whatever that's the way to find it.
right. All right. Yeah. Secretly undermine the authority of somebody. There it is. All right. Gotta underline the ones I'm going for. So I know.
Secretly undermine the authority of someone half your age and show someone
Yeah.
you still have the memory of a late family.
Still have the memory. Oh my god.
That's
Takes
not
this to a
you
very
remember
dark
them.
place.
That's you have their memories. Like, I
You
remember
wear it
being
like
on a bridge in the rain. Like
I was
the headlights coming straight at me. Like,
God.
Memories.
All I
This is-
remember is seeing myself holding a knife.
like there's this TikTok I was watching where this woman was just like messing with her mom and just recording all the weird things that her mom said. And one of them was like, "Mom, what are you thinking about right now?" And just immediately she goes, "Eggs." then like her daughter's like, what? And she's like, well, you asked. It's just like I was like, is this like one of those videos where it's like, this is my relative with dementia? No,
Oh, God.
she just says the darndest things.
He just says the dark.
She's just normal. She's like, no wonder the cat's like a balloon. It's enough food for 5 cats. It's just like random mom quips are my fave.
Can't promise that's not going to happen this whole session now.
I just want to say that we've already gotten Mike to like have tears streaming down his cheeks.
Yeah, stop and wipe. We're good now. We're fine. Everything's all right.
We're
all
only
right.
45 minutes in.
So we've driven the mystery machine. We have arrived in the fancy neighborhood in Brindlewood Bay. We are here. We have seen Abner Vidal's extensive lawn, which is full of all kinds of weird stuff. But the weird thing that really sticks out to you is that as you get closer, and there's kind of these trees that have been like decorated to make them look spooky and stuff. But as you get up to the front door, he has 2 of, I don't know if you've seen them, the 12-foot skeletons that they sell at Home Depot.
Yes.
Did you mean everyone's favorite thing?
Yes.
That is literally everybody's favorite thing this year.
It is great, right?
It's been a rough year, but yeah.
But one of them, their arms are kind of like coming together over the door, and one of them is holding a metal gong, and the other one has a big mallet. And when you press the doorbell, they're like, oh, and it just reverberates to the whole neighborhood.
They move. He got somebody to put some pneumatics on those things. It's not safe to be
Their
doing
eyes
that.
flash red lights and stuff. Yeah.
A movie guy. Look, the 12-foot skeleton stays up 365 days a year. And that is non-negotiable. There's all the like, when do you put up your Christmas tree discourse? None of that applies to the 12-foot skeleton.
When he
No,
when he had to
they
join
get
local-
Santa hats after a point.
Yeah.
That's
when he had to join the local HOA, right? They make you sign this contract, and he just wrote in all the shit that he's gonna do to his place, and then signed it, and just handed it over to them, and they're like, 2 12-foot skeletons that are your doorbell. If you want my, $100.
We're gonna fine you for it, and he's like, how
Yeah.
much?
Yeah. No. You don't get, because he wrote it in. He's like, I'm signing this, and you're gonna sign this, and I'm gonna give you your annual $150.
Is that
or whatever it
like
is.
that reminds me of the story of the dude who like took his credit card agreement and wrote in like just erased the interest and was like 0% interest, no minimum payment, unlimited like balance, and send it back.
Yeah. And
they were
executed
like, oh, there's really nothing we can do about that, huh?
Yeah.
They did it.
Yeah, exactly. So he just wrote in all of his stuff, so he gets to have these things, even though it's against all the community regulations.
They have to keep going after him because when he signs the check and sends it in, he writes it in either as charitable donation or homeowners association annual membership. And they're like, no, you literally need to have this written as a fine. And he's like, no, I don't. Or charity.
It's a tax write-off. This would.
Need to write out a check, dude. Name my best friends use cash. That's Yes. So the door, the big ass skeleton bangs the gong, reverberates to the whole neighborhood, and then the front doors, like it's got like the big double doors, and they like swing open at the same time, and inside is like oh, I never remember his actual name. He was in Princess Bride. He was the one who was like, oh, indubitably, has the inconceivable. Yes, has the challenge of wits with the poisoned cups and stuff. It's that guy, and that is Abner Vidal, big round glasses on, and he is in a full King Tut costume.
Wallace Shawn.
There we go. Yeah. But he's like,
where's Mandy Patinkin?
Ladies, I'm so glad you're able to make it. Come in. Right?
This is the best. How do I just know this man's about to die in about 15 minutes?
Wait, have you watched Murder She Wrote before? That's
Right. Okay, where's the person
That
just
was-
like the Count of Monte Cristo? Because they
I was
did
gonna say
it.
that was literally the first episode we watched. The first episode.
It's like the first episode, period, I think.
Period. Yeah.
pretty sure, yeah.
That voice just got me.
Sorry.
This is the season. This is the season to be jolly.
Thanks
This
so
is
much for
season
coming to
to
my
be
party. Come on in. Hors d'oeuvres are over there, and over there they're serving drinks. There's a guy coming around through with champagne periodically. Just keep your eye out for him. He's hard to miss. I gotta go talk to somebody over here. But I'll come find you guys when you're ladies when you're over there. I'll be with you in a couple minutes. I'll find you in a couple minutes. We'll talk. It'll be great. He ushers you in, and it's the whole multi-level, you come in on this level, there's the entry foyer, and then there's the stairs down into the living room, and there's big piano over there that somebody's playing. Yeah.
Somehow there's a mezzanine. There's an entire just a balcony floor.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's like a weird what is even
Above
happening?
us, yeah.
The stairs go up, and there's that ledge, the walkway and stuff. Out back there are large large doors that are open to a deck in the back that overlook a pool that's lit, of course, because why wouldn't it be?
Mhm.
And there are people milling about in here. And I think as you're here initially wandering around, we do someone does come up behind you and has that tray with champagne flutes. I just kind of turn around and look. It's that waiter from the marina that's Chris Hemsworth.
Aw.
Yes.
Um,
Who I flirted with. That's so good.
But he is dressed up as Officer Dangle from Reno 911, if anybody knows that, where it's a tan sheriff uniform with short shorts and cowboy boots.
Does he go? Wait, he's new boot goofing.
And he's
New
got
boot goofing.
he's got the mirrored shades and the mustache. Yeah.
Mavis takes two.
Chris, is that you under there? Oh.
Like,
Look
oh,
at you,
nice
you
to
look
see
so
you again, Miss
adorable.
Opal. Yeah. Ladies like a champagne. Here you go. Thank you.
I can't do
Chris, you're
that.
just trying to
It's
butter
nice,
us up.
nice to see you again.
intolerable flirt.
I gotta yeah. Oh, you know me too well, Francis. We'll talk later. Takes a tray.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Check
Hey,
your XP. Did
we're
you
gonna-
have still got it on
we're
your
gonna
XP sugar?
got
I
it.
think I just got it. I think I just
I
got
think
I
it.
think
got
you did
it.
just get it. I think you just walked into getting it right
I
there.
think you're gonna get it at some point, but
You walked into getting it, got it, and then walked back out like a sassy ass bitch.
I don't know. I don't know. If Chris is farting, I think that's XP.
Mike.
I'm really looking forward to the big climactic showdown at one point where we are all running and then we run into a room and Chris and Francis are PG making out.
EG
You
specific.
know, that network television before the 11
Network
o'clock news. Yeah.
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 Although Murder She Wrote's in that even earlier time slot where it's
I was gonna
oh
say,
yes,
where-
they're
Breathe
there,
in.
like snuggling and sharing a delicate kiss. Yeah, it's,
Yep. It's a 6 o'clock kiss. It's a 6 o'clock television kiss.
On the cheeks, guys. On the cheek.
Mm. Yes.
We don't know what happened, we
Right.
just saw the kiss. Nothing else.
Maybe just do this thing where she's holding both of her champagne flutes and she's like, "Oh, what's that over there?" and takes a sip and "Ooh, look at that," and takes a sip from the other one and just going through the party looking at all the things. She's got to get to the level, right? Because she's here to party tonight. It's Halloween. It's her favorite holiday.
Is it actually Halloween or is it prior
Sure.
to Halloween?
yeah.
It's a
He's
Halloween
having
party.
It's Halloween 2021. He is having this party on a Sunday night. That is
Fabulous.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Then I definitely left a bowl out with a sign of just take
Yeah.
one.
most of the kids
One
did their
bowl.
trick-or-treating yesterday.
Yeah.
Everybody, they keep doing those trunk and treat things where you like put the ball in the car and you like go to a parking lot at the church and the kids just hang out
Right.
there for a while and then like they all just all leave. It's like takes
Yeah.
all the challenge out of finding the right neighborhood to go to, but oh, it's safe, whatever.
I don't know. I mean, the trunk is right there. It takes nothing to push them in. You know.
Oh my God.
Now flooring it to get out of the church parking lot, that part's a little iffier, but
I went to one of those where they had like the bed of a truck set up as like an operation room, and like they had like a bowl filled with like ice and like cold spaghetti noodles. You had to like reach in to get your candy. It was like so disgusting, but it was so much. It was like so thematic because they had like the curtains and everything.
That's good.
It's fun.
I will say, since it is Halloween and Irene did prepare the house for trick-or-treating anyways, I think what she would have done is gotten some of the cool hip queer kids who work down at the coffee shop she always hangs out at and was like, hey, do you need a place to hold a Halloween party? You can use the house. Don't mess with anything. Everyone is, of course, underage, so don't use the liquor cabinet that's there, and the key is on top of the bookcase. Don't mess anything up. You just give out candy when kids show up.
there's a
Also,
number pad that
there's a
controls
closet.
access to
Did
the
you-
attic. Don't touch
Yes.
it.
I was about to say. Also, there's a closet you cannot go into.
Yes.
But also
If you-
physically, you can't go into it because it's on
Yes.
lock and key,
Yeah.
eyeball, retina scanner,
think-
Yeah.
all that.
I think.
Everything
Retina,
is locked.
thumbprint, and voice print.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
all very clever kids. If any of you find your way into somewhere and you find something that looks like either a knife or a gun, do not touch it because it is not a prop for Halloween.
Yeah.
Lock the door and go about your merry way and treat yourself to a Snickers bar.
I think Francis for the trick or treaters has like had the bucket out with the take one and was looking at it and it was like, this will never work. And she picks up the bucket and throws the candy all over her yard and
You
writes
can
a
find it,
sign.
it's yours.
Yeah, it's like writes a sign.
Happy
luck.
Easter. Wrong holiday.
Yeah. Finders keepers or something like that. It just walks.
I think Mavis would have like rigged up a self-serve Halloween thing with like just weird antique furniture parts.
Some sort of
Where
like
like you go up
contraption.
and you can just turn a crank and it's like you can see the candy like come down into the bowl.
At the end of it, can it be like a clown's face where you have to press its nose, then its mouth
it's
opens so you can take
Pennywise.
it out? Yeah.
It's Pennywise, and you gotta watch the teeth. You gotta watch the teeth.
Actual Pennywise.
It's actually Pennywise. Yeah, it's the real thing.
Our guest
It's the
star
guy,
this week
and he
is
tries to eat the children.
our guest star
the
this
guy.
week is Skarsgård, or alternatively the original.
Somehow Mavis got Tim Curry to reprise his role as Pennywise.
Later, he's going to be at the party as Rocky Horror, though. So it's going to be
It's Dr. Frankenfurter.
Dr. Frankfurt.
That's
I need to get my
that's what Chris
Frankenfurter
should have been
costume together
wearing,
for
that's
next
it.
year.
Dr.
that's
Frankenfurter. I don't know.
next time.
The boots.
Well,
I mean, come on.
well,
It's
Chris
good.
would have been
Great
Chris would have
Rocky.
been Rocky. Chris would have been Rocky. Somebody else would have to be Frankenfurter for sure.
I think Opal did leave the sign that was like, please take one. But it works because it's Opal. Like she's like the grandmother to everybody in like the neighborhood.
Yes.
So everyone really respects the just take one because they're gonna feel bad if they take more than one. Because
Yes.
good old Opal.
Yes.
There, we do get to see the montage of like the three rowdy teenage boys, and they're like egging a house and then toilet papering a car, and then each one taking their turn to go up and take one piece of candy from Opal, and then
Yes.
spray painting a car.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes, so
Sorry, back to the
there are
party.
people here at this
There's a
party.
game going on here, I think.
I
This
think
is the game.
we still have the waiter going around as Officer Dangle. There is Sheriff Dalrymple is over by the hors d'oeuvres. He is wearing a plaid shirt with like the snaps on it. and he has like a cowboy hat and a pair of jeans. And eventually he has to explain to someone that he is dressed as Smokey from Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes. Yes.
And no, like half the people don't know what that is. Like, yeah, that's.
Yes.
But otherwise, yeah, there is a woman dressed as a vampiress who is talking with someone who is not wearing a costume at all. He's just there wearing his regular suit. There is a guy in a Frankenstein's monster costume who you actually recognize. He is Gordon Thune. He is the head of like Brindlewood Bay Regional Bank. And he is talking to a gentleman in a Phantom of the Opera costume. There is another woman that you will recognize, June Willoughby, who is local. She is wandering around in a sock hop costume, like some sort of like 50s like poodle skirt, like lots of pink. Um, and I think is anybody like familiar with Abner? Like, have you met him and like hung out with him in a little bit of detail before?
I, I was just gonna say, I think Irene is familiar with Abner sort of by proxy. Like maybe they would have seen each other at a mutual friends party. Like if somebody sort of in like the artsy acting scene came into town and like had Abner over for drinks and also had Irene over for drinks. So they didn't like hang out. That's where they would have made their acquaintances, but it's not, they're not friends, they're just mutual friends of somebody
Okay.
else.
Then I think as you're kind of there, kind of like you've got your drinks, you're starting to get settled, you're scoping out what else going on. Um, a woman in a Cleopatra costume will come up and recognize Irene and be like, "Oh, we met at so and so's party. I'm Coco Vidal. I'm Abner's wife. Oh, please come over here. We have to catch up. Have you heard about the things?" Like grabs you by the arm and like,
Hmm.
"Have you heard about the terrible thing that happened to like so and so? She was in Faversham for a fudge party and something," and like takes you off to the side to go talk for a few minutes. Um,
Please remember, I am dressed as Scream during this whole thing, so
Yes.
Somehow she
She knew.
recognized you in that.
I
Yeah,
I
okay.
had
So
lift
sorry,
up
but yeah,
I had lifted
yeah.
up the mask to take a
You can't.
shot, and
Yeah, you
then
can't.
It's almost better if she recognizes just your form, and like as
Mhm.
a former spy, that has to be kind of unnerving. It's like, mm.
Savvy, savvy.
I'm getting sloppy.
Yeah.
It's time. Am I getting old?
Am I not with it?
No.
What is it?
That's the
Crap, I don't
opposite of
remember
still
anymore.
having.
That's but she will take Irene aside and she'll
Hmm.
talk with you for a few minutes. Um, she's sweet but kind of airheaded. Um, it's her costume and Abner's costume are probably like more expensive than they should be in Brindlewood Bay, but they're very like they match. They're very well done costumes. Um, yeah, and she'll be like, yeah, after ever since he was a teenager, he's loved Halloween, you know, married for 40 years, and every year he insists we throw the Halloween party. It gets bigger and more lavish every year, which was, I'm so glad we could have like people like you come join us this time. Yeah, it's so much more interesting to have it here in Brindlewood Bay rather than, out with all those like weird people in Hollywood. So, how have you been, dear? I was, just
It's so
Happy to
nice to get to be
be,
with you people.
yeah, happy
I
to,
caught it too.
Yeah.
I will say,
sorry.
yeah, that'll definitely
It's good. No,
Irene.
I think it's like a good element there. It's
With
good.
Yeah,
real people. Like,
Irene would say, I'm very glad that we could bring it down to earth. She's nice. She's nice. Irene likes her. She's just the type of person Irene really enjoys. She's very sweet, very open, very naive, not very smart. It's perfect. It's exactly the kind of person you want to be around if you want to find things out.
Why did you just describe Opal?
Opal's very nice. Irene loves being
Opal's very helpful if you need someone to be read. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. So she goes aside and she talks with you. I think back where everyone else is at. Um, I think Opal, when you go to like get something from like the hors d'oeuvre tray, it's like, oh, there's the mini quiches and there's the little like, they're pigs in blankets, but they're like fancy organic hot dogs and puff pastry kind of deal, like not just like the regular
They're
thing.
definitely not called pigs in a blanket, except for that's
That's
exactly what Opal calls them.
yeah, yeah. And I think as you're over there, this other woman who's local, June Willoughby, will come over.
Mm.
Um, she is pretty. She is artificially genteel. Um, she is like from one of the richer families here in Brindlewood Bay. She's like, oh, I see they have some other locals who came to the party. Nice to see you. I hear you and your little book club do a bunch of things. I heard you
Oh,
had something
June,
go on when you were over in Faversham. Yeah.
it's so good to see you, June. How
Uh,
have you been?
I've been wonderful, dude. Thank you. I like hand on the arm while she's doing it. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
been perfect. I've been doing great. Um, like, but it's so nice, I spent so much time with the Vidals and to be invited to this party. It's such a nice time. Turn change of events.
There's
It's like
definitely like the people that know Opal. There's like Opal's smile, which is like bright and like life in her eyes. And then there's the "you're dead to me" smile, where it's still the big smile, but the eyes completely like
Were it
not
not
no
for the
light.
laws of these lands, I would have killed you.
Yes.
And that's the look that she has on her face right now. But please.
okay. Yeah, no, and she's like, as she's there, she does like she sees Irene and Coco go off like the other direction, and she makes a snide comment about how Coco's costume shows an awful lot of skin. She's like, and then she'll kind of
And turns to Opal.
she's like, I mean,
Very much.
you pull it off. Don't get me wrong, dear, but that
Mm.
one, that outfit, I don't
Oh, I think it's amazing. You can see how well toned her legs are. She must spend a lot of time at that gym that they have in town.
know. The one curves in Brindlewood Bay. Like,
I mean, you know
Where's
the one I'm talking about. It's down off of Front Street. You've been there, right?
oh yeah, of course, I know it. I know. The one that Bobby and his family opened up a few years ago. It's been doing very well, from what I understand. Like, um,
Yes. All sorts of women go there.
yes, uh, but she will, she will be kind of snide about other people at the party, and then kind of like go on about her way. Like, oh, I see Abner's over there. I'm gonna go speak to him for a minute. I'll be back in a few.
Yeah.
Okay.
Opal just keeps throwing the shade back at her, but just in that stupid way that Opal does. Like, does she know what she's doing or
Mm.
not? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's Opal.
Plausible deniability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then she'd just go find Mavis.
Mavis is like at most like 4 feet away, just finishing the first flute of champagne and putting it on the tray as it goes by, and then just like listening the whole time and like laughing.
Okay, I think then Mavis is by where there is like the woman in the vampiress costume talking to the guy who's like just there in a suit. And you do overhear him saying, these parties are such a waste of time. The people of this backwater are never going to accept Abner as one of their own, so I'm not sure why he even tries. I need to get him back to Hollywood. Los Angeles misses Abner Vidal.
Mavis will do one of those like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
He is
Mhm.
I
handsome
like
with
Abner,
piercing
but
eyes and
whatever.
not dressed in a costume.
It
Um,
could be a James Bond costume. I'm not here to judge.
yeah.
Ah, you're dressed as a capitalist, I see.
It's
Why
Uh,
does
it's
it
like
always come back to
Listen, my thing, I did not do, but my original thing was going to be what makes him stand out as not one of the Richie Riches? Hammer and sickle.
Oh, so that's how Irene knows it.
yeah, so this
we're
this other woman
sending
that
it.
he's talking to, who's dressed as the vampiress, she's described as seductive, boozy, and in a vampiress costume. You can smell the fancy whiskey from here. Um, eventually, yeah, the conversation will turn around to like, how people know Abner and all that sort of things. She seems familiar with this guy, and she said, I mean, surely you've seen my work. Variety once said my performance in Devil Women from Planet X was the most acting they'd ever seen.
It was actually.
It was a lot of acting.
The most acting.
Interesting.
Yeah,
She does
Mavis
mention
is
some things
eating it
along the
up.
line about how he cast me in roles in so many of his films, like almost all of his films, and then after a while I was always like the mother of the protagonist, and I don't understand why he would do such a thing, because I'm an actress, right? Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
The the spurs of Hollywood strike again.
yes.
Is what
She just
I
needs
would
her
offer.
crows. She just needs her crows 3 or whatever. That's what she needs. She just needs her crows 3, the croning, to rejuvenate her Hollywood career.
Yeah. And then I think Francis, you go to grab, like another drink at the bar, something like that. And you end up by the Frankenstein's monster, which is the local banker. He is stuffy, he is put upon, he is dressed as Frankenstein. Those are his adjectives. And the other gentleman who he's talking to, who is friendly, boisterous, and dressed as Phantom of the Opera, says, I'll tell you this, Abner Vidal isn't just a filmmaking visionary. No, no. He's got a great mind for business. The plans we're hatching for the Bayside properties are going to make Brindlewood Bay an internationally renowned vacation spot.
Always real estate.
Oh, damn.
Always real estate, always capitalism. Like,
Even in
which,
urban
which
shadows.
Faye are up to this? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
too much.
Irene is suspicious, but if there's fancy whiskey to be had, Irene is putting it in her mouth, because otherwise there's no way she's going to get through this party without going full definitely not a spy mode. Big crowds of rich people.
Does
Said
Irene
something else.
ever does Irene ever like swap it up a little bit and do the like ghost face from Scary Movie whatever?
Was
And just-
Was
I think
When everybody comes back together in the middle of the party after like overhearing things
Yes.
and seeing some of these characters, that's how Irene
it's
drives,
going
right?
to come in. It's going to come in at some point, but for now
has
she's
the
keeping
second
it.
mask.
Yeah, for now she's keeping it sensible. She is saving up that for the perfect moment when she can pull out a humorous scene, perhaps with her fellow mavens, but otherwise she's planning a straight performance.
Okay. So I think you're here and you're able to spend some time here at the party, kind of go out, interacted with some of the other people who have been invited. And then all of a sudden, from outside, there is a piercing scream. Everyone rushes outside, and on the covered deck, there is a woman dressed in a maid uniform, like her regular maid uniform, with a pair of cat's ears on, standing there screaming, and there is Abner Vidal face down into the metal bin for bobbing for apples. Totally still, face down, no bubbles coming up. And she like touches him and like flops over onto his back.
this big dramatic like
Yes.
reveal? He's dead.
Ta-da! Abner Vidal murdered at his own Halloween party. Whoever would have guessed, except all of you when you showed up at the front gate. But besides that, who would have guessed that something like this could happen at a party such as this?
Ladies, I think it is time that we admit that it's dangerous when we were together.
Don't know what you mean.
Law enforcement's gonna start getting the wrong idea.
I think,
Speaking
yeah,
of
Sheriff
things on
Dalrymple will step up to the front, dressed as Smokey from Smokey and the Bandit. Be like, All right, now everybody, I need you to calm down. Nobody's allowed to leave the house until we get to the bottom of this. As performed by Wilfred Brimley, like this big
Yeah, we
I
get
mustache.
some
think-
lightning
Yes,
strike right when he says nobody's allowed to leave the house, like
Mhm.
yes.
murder mystery style.
Why is it thundering? Like,
Yeah.
it's
think-
clear out.
I think Francis would have said like, "Oh, they're gonna start getting suspicious," and meanwhile, Irene's checking the body for a pulse. So when Sheriff Dalrymple shows up, he turns and there's just Ghostface crouched over the body, and then the mask comes up and it's like, "He's dead."
I think we would have figured that one out already. Yeah, like that's. Um, but yes, we have this dramatic reveal of the death of Abner Vidal here at his party, and I don't know if you want to go to commercial break here and come back and then begin your questions, your investigate, your trying to get to the bottom of what
Yeah.
happened to Abner Vidal.
Let's do it.
I like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
then we will pop off here for about 10 minutes to another break screen with completely up to date and legitimate and useful data embedded in it. That's certainly
Why
not
is
something
it
I forgot to
s-
move.
Why is it saying don't forget to vote in the Bush v. Gore presidential election?
Oh, man.
Simpler times.
That's right.
Yes. All right. Yeah, so we'll be back in about 10 then. See everybody then.
See y'all soon.
Cool. All right. Top of the hour. That's roughly what we're aiming for. We're
That's
back.
what we said.
All right. Yeah, it's exactly what we said. Be back. Whatever, it's a nice round number and easy to explain. So, we've been here visiting this retired Hollywood B-grade movie director's home for his Halloween party, where he has suddenly, dun dun dun, turned up dead, drowned
Those
in
surprise.
his own bobbing for apple bucket, while everybody else was in and busy drinking and trying to hit on Officer Dangle, the champagne boy.
You just new boot goofing.
Yeah.
Genuine ostrich.
When we're done, I'll have to go find the clip from the episode where like they screwed up when they were doing the lotto, and like everybody had a ticket that said they won, so they keep like all like screw you like over and over, and then having to walk it back. It makes for a crappy person to explain the scene, but it's really funny. That's yeah.
It's such a good show. It was such a fun show.
So, Sheriff Dalrymple has banned anyone from leaving here until we can get to the bottom of what's going on. He believes whoever must have done this clearly has to be at this party and on the property right now. And we all know how effective Sheriff Dalrymple is at figuring these things out. So, lucky the Murder Mavens are here.
Now that there's no Dr. Bob here to ruin the crime scene, can
Yes.
actually maybe solve something.
Sheriff Dalrymple is looking to find like an actual rotary phone to be like
Yeah.
to call Dr. Bob to get him over here to be like the medical examiner who turns queasy at the sight of a body. Yeah.
I think Mavis is just immediately like, wait a minute, bobbing for apples, water everywhere, and it's just like trying to see if she can't follow some wet footprints to a clue kind of deal, because that's just the first thing that comes to mind, and also that is in the general direction of somebody with a tray of drinks.
While while she is doing that, I think that Francis is going to try and work Sheriff Dalrymple to let us have carte blanche over the crime scene. No need to call Dr. Bob. We have Irene, so
It's like,
Well,
well, I
literally
mean,
the best thing you have.
Dr. Bob has to be the one to take the body. It's required by law and all, but like I understand what you mean.
You
Look,
are the law. You could
law. It's like,
we could make this all
where's
go
the
away.
law? Yeah, like this. Um, yes, he recognizes you and your track record as a group here. He's like, officially, I'm not supposed to let you ladies be interfering.
Near a dead body. We know. Like,
But
we've
also,
mentioned that before.
I mean, we're gonna have to like clear that you're not suspects. But while you're here, I mean, I'm sure if you were to ask some questions around, that seems to work out in the end usually. Um, Dr. Bob is at a rural medical examiner convention in Faversham, so it's going to take him at least an hour and a half to get here. And as soon as I told him,
there's so many people in white coats with pills in their pocket and a fake limp, and they're like, "You also came as Dr. House."
On Halloween, yeah, okay. He's like, yeah, he had me on speakerphone, like, or he had me on FaceTime. I could see in the background when I told him what had happened to like 4 other of these medical examiners. Were all like, oh,
Wait, none of them want to be around it.
like
Wait,
all of them.
I'm in love with this moment because I just see Sheriff Dalrymple with like his where's the phone? Where's the phone? And he like gets the phone. He like takes the handset off the thing, right? So it's got the dial tone. He like goes around the circles
and then his
on the
face typing somebody. Yeah,
and then no. And then like when he's done, the phone like falls away and the FaceTime begins. And like that's how all the phones in his house work. They are all very nice phones, but they look like the old boxy rotary phones. And they're like, once you're done dialing, then it opens up and there's a big screen inside.
The one in the kitchen is actually the box on the wall with like the speaker mounted on it.
Yes.
And you have to like hold the part to your ear, like talking to it. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Thank you. That's what it is here.
Yeah, so he's willing to allow you folks to do your thing, right? He has benefited from y'all doing your thing before. He's not going to look that gift horse in the mouth. Anyway,
he's not going to look at that horse's mouth either.
Yeah, sorry, I've had way too many caffeinated drinks today. Sorry about that.
You're only prepping for 2 games back to back. I don't know.
It's not like I'm going to need sleep between now and tomorrow night for another second. Yeah. So Mavis, yes, if you're going to go wandering around trying to follow, like, oh, there's these trail of droplets that are going to lead into the house. Let's see, because I know there's the meddling move here. When you search for a clue, conduct research, or otherwise gather information. I think there is a trail of water. It leads you into another room in the house, which is the inside is. It's like a smallish home theater. It has like a big screen in one side and a projector in one end. But kind of like out front, the walls are painted in this mural where it's like sky at the top and green and ground at the bottom, so that it's low in the front and it raises as you get up. And if you face the back of the room where the projector is, it's another like Hollywood sign painted up there. So yeah, here in the Tinseltown room, what object do you see that's supposed to be a reminder of Abner and Coco's life in Hollywood?
Coco was the actress, right? Or
Coco's his wife.
No,
she was also an actress who's appeared in like supporting roles in many of his films. The actress who was dressed as a vampiress has been like the starring role in a bunch of them. But Coco was like a lot of the time she was an extra. She was a background character. She was a bit part.
Yeah, I think so. It's a reminder of their life in Hollywood. I think there's like, I think it's really because if he's doing like B horror, I feel like there's like a small little shelf with like some trophies on it, and there's one that's for like best supporting actress. That's like this very prestigious award, and the other one is like a Razzie for like just worst something. of the year, and they're just right next to each other for the same exact year, for the same movie. And it's just like this wonderful like duality of careers kind of going on.
He did wonderful in this role, but man, this movie was crap.
So much acting.
So
Okay.
much.
Yes. All the acting.
The most.
And that was Devil Moon from Planet X, which is, they made
Sounds like a
4 different
classic.
sequels to it. Yeah, that was great. So yeah, if you're gonna search around here in this room, we're gonna meddle, right?
Yeah.
So you get to roll with whatever is an appropriate ability for how you're messing around in here.
So remind me what those abilities are.
So those options,
They
now that you
do.
ask, are vitality if your action involves strength, dexterity, endurance, or athleticism. Composure if it requires a steady hand, a calm disposition, or intense concentration. Or if you're trying to avoid a fear-based reaction. Reason if you're studying books, researching a problem, examining a crime scene, or otherwise engaging your mental faculty. Presence if you're trying to charm someone, intimidate someone, or capture their imagination. Or sensitivity if it involves supernatural forces.
I think reason on this one because I'm trying to follow the droplets and find the clue. Because they went that away, as they say. Okay, 5 on this die. I have these wonderful dice with flower pips, and they're not the easiest to read, which I should have known. So 5, 4, 9, 2, and reason 11 is my roll.
11. Okay, so on a 7 and 9, there's a complication. On a hit, you find a clue. So you get a clue, no complication. So let's see. Oh, shoot, there's one here. I think as you're searching around the room, over there in that section where there's like, oh, there's the statue for this, and then there's the Razzie Award and stuff. There's like a spot on the wall where like clearly something was hanging, and like you find it like it has fallen down off the wall, and the glass in this frame is cracked. And it is a Lifetime Achievement Awards. And as you pick it up, you kind of like feel something with your fingers in the back of the frame. You can see that someone has like with some sort of like sharp implement carved "Enjoy it, you worthless bastard" into the back of the frame.
Dang.
You are. Yep. Cool. Yeah. She's like, that's suspicious. Yeah. Maybe this is kind of just like, suspicious. And I guess is gonna snoop around some more and just kind of make sure she's definitely separated from the group and very much in a precarious position because she's had a few champagne. She didn't care. She feels like she can take on the world. She's had champagne.
That's a movie.
Okay, we could go back to Mavis in a couple minutes. So everybody else who's still out here, people are milling about around. Sheriff Dalrymple is trying to get them back in off the porch. The woman in the maid costume with the cat's ears is just like sobbing and like
I'll
kind of
take care. I'll take
heavy,
care of her.
hyperventilating. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, honey, it's okay. Honey. These things happen. It's okay. Um, and just kind of puts her arm around her and pets her arm. Um, what? How did you? What? How did you come out here? Why were you out here? What did you
It's like
see?
I've, I'm Mrs. White. I'm the maid. I've
Uh-huh.
worked for the Vidals for years. I came here with them from Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Used to take care of the house out there. This one is so much smaller, so much easier to take care of. Um,
Mm-hmm. Breathe, honey, breathe.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. She will be very concerned about like where's Coco? Is Coco okay? I hope she's all right. I should go check on her.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But before you
bef-
go,
Yeah, before she goes, she says, Mr. Vidal was bound to go and get himself killed at some point, I suppose. I'm surprised it took this long. But I'm so worried about Mrs. Vidal. Someone needs to go make sure she's looked after.
I'll walk with you. We'll go
Okay.
together. And she kind of like does the like tries to get Irene or Francis and be like very not subtly at all,
Yeah.
ignoring everything Irene has done her.
Yeah, I will follow those hand signals so that Irene can examine the body.
Yeah.
I'm already wearing gloves, so that problem is settled.
And you have a way to begin a
An
very,
autopsy.
very minor autopsy.
Whoa.
We're lucky this is happening this early in the party where Irene is not at the stage where she's chill enough that she absolutely would.
I need you to do me a favor, Chris. Can you head to the kitchen and get me a couple steak knives? And a set of tongs.
I need tongs.
And you might want to get like
and
the
an
biggest,
apron.
yeah, the biggest tablecloth you can find.
Maybe if they have some of those gallon-sized Ziploc bags, just
I'm going to need all of the ice, all of the champagne buckets, all
Figure
of
out
the
the quality
champagne
of his
buckets.
liver.
Somebody get this
Organ
liver over to the
donor.
hospital. Somebody needs it.
They are harvesting here. I'm harvesting here. I am going to. I actually will enlist Chris's help, not for steak knives, but I will say, Chris, darling, can you get a very big tablecloth, and can you come stand here near me? You don't have to look, but just have your big arms stretched out so we can kind of shield this while I take a look at what we have.
I think he'll like, yeah, I can do that, but I can't watch, even a
There's
drop of
not
blood and I just pass right out. Like this
there's not going to be anything. The important thing is that we keep everyone calm, and that is your job. Remember, what you always want to do in a crisis is make sure you're not the one freaking out, and as few people are freaking out as possible. Freaked out people make things messy.
Okay.
And
I'll go get the tablecloth.
once he gets back, I will then proceed to. I still am wearing the ghost face mask through this whole thing. I have to reiterate that. And am now going to examine the body. I think it's fair to say I am meddling.
Yes, absolutely.
No. What?
It sounds like reason to me, but
It always does. I would love to spring for composure and keeping my cool, but I understand if it's a reason roll. So, rolling for reason.
okay.
You know what? I will take it. We are sitting pretty at a 5 and a 6 is a math. That is an 11 plus 1 is a 12.
It's a 12. All right. So
Give me them void clues.
Like it. We like the board clues.
I think as you're there and you're rolling him over and you're kind of like give him a couple chest compressions and like more water bubbles out. That part of his King Tut costume kind of like comes undone. And inside, stashed away, you find a piece of women's lingerie that smells like perfume.
I checked the size and the design.
Don't you know the smell? Haven't we established that like Irene
yeah,
like Chanel No. 5 or something like that?
I recognize the perfume. That's not a problem.
Oh, it is probably a knockoff of Chanel No. 5.
There it is.
Like it is the Ganel 6.
Yeah.
It just has there's one wrong note that only you can tell.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just it's
Yeah,
slightly off.
instead of like that rose scent, instead it's kind of like chrysanthemum scent, and it's a totally different thing.
There's
You can tell
there's
them
too
apart.
much wisteria. There's too much. No one who is trying to make a Chanel knockoff would put that much wisteria. It's made by idiots. There's one semitone of wisteria too much.
Yes.
So I know that I'm gonna take note of like generally what size and how expensive they seem to be. I know the perfume, cheapo knockoff perfume. It's probably only $50 a bottle. But I will sort of identify how ritzy we're looking with this.
Yes. They're medium Ritz. Like
Medium
they're
Ritz.
above average Ritz level. This is someone who is trying to have something nice to differ.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think another thing you notice is that there, as you're doing it, you hear a bell in the distance from like the local clock tower, um, and it goes off, and you check your watch, and it's 9, and then you hear it's like ding ding ding, and it hits 9, and it keeps going, and it doesn't stop until it reaches 13.
That is peculiar. Spooky. Right. I will secrete away the lingerie into my ghost face robes. So it's pretty clear he was drowned. Goes without saying, there's no like strangulation, no knives, no bullets involved. I assume there's lots of splashing around the barrel.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of water here around the barrel from when he was thrashing, because you don't just like lie down there. Oh yeah, I'm just giving up. But then
Fine.
there was also the water that like went off another direction. That's where Mavis went.
Perfect.
But Opal, as you're ushering Mrs. White away, I do want to give you the opportunity to meddle by conversing with her if you'd like.
Yes, I would love to do that, please.
Okay.
That's composure, right?
Steady and calm disposition. I think it might be presence.
Okay.
Or
I think presence is the
presence is kind of
charisma
like
skill.
the socially type one. Yeah, you're trying to charm someone, intimidate them, or capture their imagination. Like you're trying to talk through this to get her to like. So, what do you have to spill? Come on, tell me. Come on.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So it's 2d6 plus 1 for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn, way to flex having a bonus in your presence skill.
Sorry, it was just an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, she killed Opal.
It was a good run.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a hit.
Oh, cool. With complications, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think as she's walking around and she's talking to you, she's like, "Oh, I was so glad that he was gonna have the party to focus on to help cheer him up, because he was so dejected after they got that rejected building permit, or they were rejected for that building permit."
For new real estate?
I think earlier when we were kind of going around the room, there was like another gentleman there who was talking about how he did other business stuff, and they were trying to build like a resort.
Yeah. Opal says it loud enough because Frances was following her.
Okay.
So for real estate, because I think David was the one that got that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
Discreetly passing clues by shouting them back to the person behind you.
Oh, interesting. Well, I know where I'm going next.
Oh, well, things, they have a very strict board of covenants here. Or board of covenants, no, covenants, right. But
Aren't those the places where nuns live? No, that's convents.
no,
That's
convents.
No, you're thinking of the flat shoe, the one with the star on
Converse. Oh,
convents.
there's a stupid off for a moment here. And then
No, no, I think you're thinking of the people who change from one religion to another. No, they're converts.
converts,
That's-
right.
What is it when
If
you're
that is
drafted into the
not-
army?
Conscript.
Yeah.
No, I
if
think
that
I think you're
isn't
thinking
a-
of when something is the opposite. No, that's also converse.
It's a
No,
different
you're thinking of when a mirror has a curve to it. Like, no, it's
Oh,
convex.
it's concave. Yeah, convex. Yeah. I think that's where that scene actually goes
Yeah.
for a little bit so
Other
that
people
we can
join. They're like, no, no, no.
that we
I've
can
seen-
come back to it like when it's Opal's turn next. We're still in that conversation.
What's
And then
when
we
two
can-
people talk together? Like we're doing.
Yeah.
Convert. Oh yeah.
No, you mean the like little lenses that you put into your eyes so that you can see better without glasses. Contacts. That's
This is
No, I
a
think you-
horrible 10
think you
minutes of
mean-
the show.
I think you mean sort of the like details that give you some additional information about a
Context.
situation. That's good. I've seen how these things go on Twitter. They will go for days.
Yes.
Opal
You'll
is
tap
just
for
smart enough
hours.
to keep up to play this game. She's just yeah. We never
Oh,
get to where
man.
we're trying to go ever.
Frances, having found this new piece of information, is going to make her way to the office.
With Jim and Pam and all the others. Carry on.
Yeah, exactly.
don't jim the camera. Yes, Abner does have an office here in the house. You are able to like make your way like quietly up the stairs, like, over there, like, slip into his office. It says Abner is very bad at business. Looking around his office, how do you know this?
Oh, how do I know he's bad at business?
Just based on his office, yes.
Okay. In his office, there is obviously a desk where he keeps his, notes and things, right? And she goes there first. It's like, okay, desk, looking around a little bit. I see there's a drink cart, right?
Mhm.
And then I see on the desk are like glasses and, like plenty of signs of drinking happens in this room. Not a whole lot of signs of work. Like,
There's a computer, but it has one of those like plastic covers over it, like the
over
sheet, the
yeah,
plastic-
yeah, exactly,
like
exactly.
layer
exactly.
of dust on it has not been moved. Yeah,
And
like-
just out of just very ever so briefly, she like the first drawer is always the locked one, but the second drawer is usually open, and it's like there's two bottles that are half empty just laying down in there also, right? The drink cart is full. It's like, oh, this is his drinking room.
Yes.
He may have business that happens in this room, but this is a room where he imbibes and relaxes. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what I've gleaned about him, is that he's a raging alcoholic, and that this room is a place where he can do that without the eye of Coco or anybody who would be a minder to him.
Okay. Yeah, because there was somebody downstairs who is like clearly his business partner, and
Right.
people who are involved in other business dealings. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and I'm totally going to ransack this room discreetly, quietly, picking locks if I need to open
Okay.
things and look for additional information about this business deal if I can find it.
All right. Then yes, let's meddle. Right.
Awesome. And so I roll an ability. What is my ability here that I'm going to try and roll? Is that composure? Is that reason?
Let's see.
I feel like there's
Reason
like
is
probably something like
yeah.
locked in here that I'm going to try and open up, because that tends to be something that Francis will try and do on some of these mysteries, is like get to a thing that is locked, and
Okay.
oh, you're not supposed to be there. Maybe there's a safe behind the picture of Abner, or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, there's this one book that's out of place about the pyramids, and you pull it, and it opens like a shelf.
Yeah.
There's a safe behind it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. That can be a roll with composure.
Okay. So it's 2d6 plus the
2d6
skill I've
plus
got.
composure. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So, okay. That is 5 on the die, but I have composure 2, so it's 7. Is that
Was
it?
that
Or is that
5?
not it?
You did roll 2 dice, right?
I rolled 2 dice. Yeah, I got a 4 and a 1.
Added up to 5 plus 2 is 7. Okay.
Yep.
So that's a partial hit.
Okay.
So you do get a clue for that.
Sweet.
I think one thing that you find is that behind the desk on like a bureau by the window, there is a plastic jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, one of the ones with like the black plastic handle, that like the kids take door to door for like candy and stuff. But as you kind of like go over and look into it, it is filled with half-empty pill bottles, primarily painkillers.
Okay.
That is some juicy gossip.
Painkillers plus alcohol. This man was gonna die, no matter what.
Yes, and I think as you're doing that, like you bump something and it makes a noise,
Yeah.
and then the door from the hallway opens, and it is Jane Willoughby, the local woman who was throwing shade at people and being all judgy at Coco earlier. Like, oh, Miss Francis, what are you doing in here? Right? And then meanwhile, down in another room in the building.
I think the immediate answer as we're like cutting away is like obviously looking for a drink.
You knock something, and then you had a pill bottle, and then when Jane
And
comes
the glass.
in and you turn
It's like-
around, when you turn around, you're holding like an entirely different glass and booze bottle.
Yeah, the continuity is all wrong in this scene. Perfect, thank you.
It's also clearly daylight outside, and they've applied like that dark blue gradient
Oh my
filter.
God, yeah, that's
in the
day,
post.
day for
Yeah.
night filter. Yeah. I know that filter. No,
Yeah.
just like,
But yeah, we'll cut to another part. We'll figure out what happens there. I think Opal, you're there kind of shepherding Mrs. White around. Eventually, you do find Coco, Coco Dow.
No, that's consecration. You're thinking the
No, that's-
conservation of mass.
You're thinking of when you can't figure out what somebody else is talking about. It's like, no, that's consternation. You're thinking of when you can purge poison and survive craving throws. No, that's constitution.
Constitution.
That's
survive saving throw. Stop it. They are not having a D&D discussion in this man's Halloween party. We have gone too far.
Brindle, what we didn't tell you is that the second episode of our Brindlewood Bay is going to be us playing a game of D&D, but as our characters playing a game of D&D.
That is the only way you will get me to play D&D, is as another character in another game that then has to roll before they roll.
I just think you've lost conviction. What was she saying?
You're thinking of the ovens that cycle the hot air. That's convection. Sorry.
God damn it.
We're never getting out of this time loop.
No.
I'm
It's constant.
actively
Poor people
choosing
who
not
made
to
this.
participate so that we can
The poor people who
Continue.
So we can
contributed to
continue?
this game are going to be like, don't watch this actual play at all. Like, just don't.
Hi, if you're joining us for your first Brindlewood Bay episode ever,
Don't. Like,
You'll
don't.
notice that they are quite concentric.
There you go. Okay.
No, you're thinking of when something matters in a really big scheme of things. That's consequential.
You know what? I think that, Mike, you just need to concentrate. I got Ethan.
I'm gonna have to stop and think about this for a few minutes. So give me a second to contemplate.
We wouldn't want everything to fall in on itself, would we?
Yeah.
Collapse. Why? How did this happen to me? Why am I in this now? I want out. I want out.
No, you're
You
thinking
played
of
the
being
game, you
like
got bit.
you think of being like punished by either the state or divinely. It's condemned.
That's what is happening here.
So yeah, what is Coco
Yeah.
doing?
I
Coco
really think
Vidal.
we're just losing the connection that we have with one another.
We just got to get a whole bunch of things and like get them all together, and then we can have a collection. That's.
Oh no, we've moved off the con prefix. We're in too deep. Pull the plug. That's our time, folks. This was the no, you're thinking of the sketch. This is our who's on first.
Well, there's points at the end, but they don't matter. Yes, Coco Vidal is in the kitchen, crying. Mrs. White is very eager to go over there and console her. I think Sheriff Dalrymple is probably trying to have a conversation with her, and Mrs. White's like, no, you have to leave her alone. You have to give her space. Her husband, oh, Coco, are you okay? And she's like, kind of like cradling her and hugging her and like, all that kind of thing.
I'll wave the sheriff off, like
Be gone, Dalrymple.
Yes. I think Sheriff Dalrymple will move on to another room. I think anytime that you start trying to be like, I'll let you too, Mrs. White will be like, no, don't go. We don't want to be alone. And then like she will stop you from leaving and like keep you here in the kitchen with them.
cool. That doesn't sound creepy.
Hey, it was a
think-
mixed success, right? You get a consequence too.
Yeah.
There are consequences. I've been down in the kitchen.
I think that Opal just does the classic. Did he have any enemies? Was there someone upset with him?
I think Coco will say, why would anyone want to kill Abner? He's so harmless. It's true he snores quite a lot, and he's sometimes a bit of a cheapskate when it comes to dining out, but why would anyone want to kill him over things like that? But if you're trying to converse with Coco, you can meddle again.
I would like to meddle again. Presence again.
I think so.
Your presence is our present.
Thank you, Andy.
Too sensitivity. Come on, tune into the void to get answers.
Yeah.
I am going to do that. I'm going to do Dark gods.
Snake eyes. 3 altogether.
Oh my god, Opal's dead.
Opal died.
That's not a night move. It wasn't a night move. It's a meddling move. She can't die right now.
Yeah.
But if she doesn't, it must be described in gruesome fashion. So then we can cut to commercial, and it's all fine after the commercial break.
What am I trying to find? Where's the putting on a crown thing?
Crown of the Queen?
Well, there was.
Yeah, it's Crown of the Queen and Crown of the Void.
But what do they do? I don't remember what
That's
they do.
what I was trying to remember. Like they were for like manipulating stuff after the thing.
Oh yeah. It will
And
be.
I thought I had it in Legend Keeper, and I might not.
The keeper, okay. After die roll, you can choose to put on a crown
Mhm.
and increase your die result by 1 tier. So a miss becomes a 7 to 9 becomes 10 to 11, 10 to 11 becomes a 12. After it's been described as where you messed up. And then it just increases it. So it's like the next level of success. And you can put on the Crown of the Queen or the Crown of the Void. The Crown of the Queen is you then have to pay the toll by selecting one of those things in the middle. And it's usually like narrating a scene, a side scene that happens, or Crown of the Void, which is just, hey, it's a free one and definitely won't come back to bite us. And we advance the Void plot a bit more.
But you have to take those one in sequence, I think.
Exactly, but you take them in sequence, exactly. So your
Yeah.
first one will be Shadow in the Garden, which is where Mavis is now. Anytime you have a cozy moment, you also have to describe how it's subtly spooky.
Mhm. Can I make this a mixed success by doing one of the Crowns of the Queen?
Yes.
So I want to do a scene in the present day showing how you satisfy your physical desires.
I
And
see that Brindlewood Bay just ticked over into the 9 o'clock hour, so here we go.
Here we are.
Brindlewood Bay was picked up by HBO for its 5th season.
And now we go to commercial. We come back for Brindlewood Bay Nights.
so I am choosing to say that physical desire is keeping oneself in shape, is what I am
Curves.
going for, gentlemen. No, I think you see Opal, gray sweat suit, right? But like, you know, sweat jacket, sweatpants, nothing, none of that newfangled yoga stuff. And she has like a really small basement, like really a cellar that, you know, has like her jarred, you know, fruit and vegetables, stuff like that, pickled stuff. But there's also a one of those boxing bags hanging from the ceiling, and she puts on her white terry cloth like headband and arm, you know, the one wristbands.
Yes.
And then just wraps her hands and then just goes to town, just punching the boxing bag, getting some good side ones in.
Irene is so proud.
She's just you know, just working out. Just
I have
you
to,
know.
I have to say, if I had to guess what Opal does to exercise in her basement, I would have taken you for one of those like stationary bikes with like the handlebars that move.
Yes.
I like the boxing. It's good.
Boxing, something her son showed her that he learned on his travels around the world.
It's great, and it's really good for just in case you would need self-defense for any reason whatsoever. Not that you will, but just in case you did.
She's just throwing pillows all day long.
Just haymakers, just all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my
Okay,
scene to make
that's
it a
her-
mixed success.
Her flashback
Yeah.
scene. Okay. Yes, so I think you're there. And she'll tell you like, oh, you're married for 40 years. I don't know why anybody would want to do a thing like this. You know, sure, we've had our ups and downs, but everything's been fine for so long. And I think Mrs. White will be like, yeah, can you get a glass out of the dishwasher? We'll get her a glass of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of go and you open up the dishwasher and like, great, the maid is handing you to get the glass of water. And you take out the glass, and inside the dishwasher, there is a plastic bag, like if you go to the grocery store or like the Quickie Mart or what have you. Inside the dishwasher. And inside it, there are like multiple rubber Halloween masks.
She'd pull out the bag and show it to Mrs. White.
Neither one of the two of them knows what the bag is or why it would be there.
Are they like open mat? Like, are they still in their spirit
They're
Halloween
like
like extra bag, or
It's in just like a generic, like the white one with the like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and like one's filled in and the other are all outlines. Um,
Mhm.
but inside there's like um, I think they're all like president rubber masks. Like there's like a Reagan and a Nixon, like Bush and Gore. Gore was the president, but callbacks. We got them.
Mhm. Well, this is quite odd to you shouldn't wash them like this. I believe you're supposed right. Here's a glass. Um, and she'll set them to the side for when one of the other ladies comes to talk to her.
Okay.
Yeah, but she'll hold on to that clue, I guess, to show the
Yeah, because they're
ladies.
they're still not like no, don't go, right? Like so.
Yeah, I'm stuck here. It's fine. It's fine. Opal's good here. We're good. Cool.
Cool. All right. We haven't checked in on Mavis in a little bit. So here in this like home theater room that's like painted to look like Hollywood, or somewhere else adjacent if you've been moving around, I'm not sure. What
Yeah,
is
Mavis
Mavis
is
getting up
definitely
to?
like Mavis is definitely snooping around looking for more clues.
Zigzagging.
Yeah, definitely in parts of the house that are not intended for guests. And like definitely in an extremely unsafe situation. Like
You can
Okay.
you can say
'cause
sex
she's
dungeon
just
even.
looking.
It's Brindlewood Bay after dark now.
It might be. I don't know. I feel like it depends on. I feel like I have to roll for sex dungeon. I feel like it's something you just have to do.
What's is sex dungeon again?
Composure.
It's in the rule. Oh, hey, that's my good one.
Oh my.
So yeah, I'm just. Wow.
Is that because it's avoiding fear-based reaction? That's anyway. Um,
Sure.
Yeah, no. If you're going to meddle more, we can meddle more.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
how are you meddling?
I mean, she's really just following the trail, just trying to figure out where else this. Just like, okay, so somebody's been in
Are you
here.
trying to get into another part of the house?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Just trying to keep
a
looking
lot of
around.
the rest of the house, there's people watching what's going on, and like Sheriff Dalrymple's trying to keep people in one place, so that might be a night move to get somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it sounds good. It seems risky. It's probably dark and unlit because this isn't the guest part of the house, right? There's not supposed to be party guests over here. I think.
So what are you
I'm
afraid will happen if you fail or lose your nerve?
I think that while I'm snooping around here, and tell me if this is out of line, but I think what happens if I fail or lose my nerve is that I like run into either the killer or someone else in the house that would do me harm. Like I run into someone who wants to do me harm, and I'm all alone in the all alone and buzzed in this weird side of the house. There's probably some dude with a brick somewhere. In this game, there's always somebody with a brick not far off screen.
So you're gonna find a stairway and just bricks just all over.
Bricks just down the stairs. I've managed to avoid having any hips replaced, but it's it's never too late. So yeah.
Yeah, the keeper will tell you how it is worse than you fear. So yeah, there certainly could be somebody here. Like this is an active murder scene. Someone here is a murderer who does not want to get caught. They could be out here attempting to do you harm. Plus, like you said, a lot of this section of the house is dark. Stairs, dark, ladies.
Dangerous.
Yeah, bad things can happen here.
I don't have my life alert on.
Yeah. All right.
It doesn't
Bad
go with
things
the
happen
costume.
in dark manners. so
That's
much
true.
to it.
'Cause I could
Um,
never live in a manor because at some point it's going to be dark and nothing
Right.
good has ever happened in a dark manor.
I played those video games. I know.
So I don't know what stat would that be?
um,
Composure, I guess.
yeah, composure if you're trying to avoid a fear-based reaction, things that require a steady hand, a calm disposition.
I think this would be a calm disposition. I gotta like got a little bit of liquid courage to help me, help me on, but still have to keep my cool. So on the dice, I've got a 10 plus 1 for composure. So 11.
Okay. So yeah, 11. You do what you intended, or you hold steady. Describe what it looks like.
Yeah, I think Mavis is like moving around and it's kind of like dark, but she'll like stop for a second and then kind of look, and maybe there's like a little bit of light through like a crack in a door down the hall kind of deal that like she wouldn't have noticed unless she just like sort of stopped because all the other rooms are dark. And then she's gonna head into that room to look for some clues.
Okay. Um, is it fair to say that there's like a stairway there that leads you upstairs to another room?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because she's moving through the dark part of the house. It could be upstairs, downstairs, whatever is
Okay.
appropriate. But
Yeah, so like towards the back in the upper floor, is where the master bedroom's at. So you kind of like find this back path that kind of takes you up through there without having to go out through like the big well lit entry foyer with
I
like
find the
big
servant stairs.
Yeah, you find the like the bookshelf that slides aside and there's a spiral stairway to go up. Yeah.
Yes.
Which has questions associated with it, which I'm not going to deal with on stream. All right. So yeah, the master bedroom is up here.
It's about
if you want to look
do on
around,
the stairs.
It's about his sex life, isn't it?
uh-huh.
Yeah. 2 words: sex swing. It's there. It's
Yep.
loud, proud. It's hanging in one corner of the room, and mirror on the ceiling. Boom, done.
Problem solved.
I don't know
I
what
am
the
an
question is.
interior designer.
I don't know what the question is, but I know that's the answer.
That is actually the perfect answer to the question. Yeah.
Boom.
Oh,
That's it.
If you're in Discord, then you'll see that the question was, but
well,
you'll see that this
there you
was
go.
exactly
That was
the answer. Yeah. There's probably like the hanger from one of their costumes, like hanging on it. Like,
Yeah,
just
for
there.
sure.
Yeah.
Very, very versatile. Those
There's
useful in many
definite-
situations.
Yeah, there's definitely like several pairs of folded socks and like a clean towel that you need a place to put the clean laundry in the room. And so that is a flat surface that you can put the clean laundry in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Not
It's-
to say that their maid, Mrs. White, goes in there with the folded up linens
like
and
sets them there.
sets them there.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
The
They
maid
don't
puts them
have
there on purpose. Like,
they don't have an electric keyboard in the corner of the room that you can set your clothes on and then forget about them. They need something.
Wow,
Very
you were just
specific.
called out so bad, buddy.
Very specific.
I
Hey,
keep my junk mail on it. Thank you very
listen, I was speaking only from personal experience.
much.
it's my
You,
grandmother's
me,
hope
the
chest,
same.
and you leave it alone. That's like,
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna poke around.
yeah. Have a
And
look
hopefully
around
not-
in here. It's like, I'm just gonna nudge this out of the way while I go over here. Like, yeah.
And just I'm just gonna attempt not to roll a move where I have to tell you what I'm afraid will happen in this room. Instead, I'm gonna roll the metal. And then let's see, what is that? Oh my god, I can't count. Okay, yeah, that's 10 plus 2. because I'm assuming I'm using
That's
reason.
the-
I'm like poking. I'm looking through
yeah.
drawers. I'm looking for things. Right.
Okay. Yeah. No, that is good.
Well, that means
Um,
you find a void clue.
yeah.
Nope. That's 14. Nope. I missed one. I can't count these as save my life.
You should roll different dice.
I should. I really
But
should.
he
But,
bought
but
them
these
for
are
this
thematic.
game.
They're thematic. It's
So
like I just
so you
look at it.
definitely got a void clue then.
I just look at that and I'm
What's
like, I know
this
that's a big
tentacle
number.
doing? Oh wait, no, hang on a second. No.
Like the only one that you can like easily tell is the ones.
I like 1 through 4 is fine. It's like the 5 and 6
Mhm.
that kind of get a little the 6 especially because it's got like a really tiny one in the corner over here
Mhm.
that I always just overlook. It's awful. Oh yeah, 14.
Okay. I think I might give you 2 just because one of them was just fits well with the conversation.
I'm afraid.
And one of them I feel like is a better option. But yeah. You hear an argument between 2 people. They think it's private. They're on a balcony somewhere. But it's unclear what it is that they're saying. It sounds like 2 women arguing.
Is it me and June?
That'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it was Irene and June, there would be the sound of one woman falling off of the balcony.
There's
That's
gonna
what I
be
can
2
argue.
sounds. Me hitting you twice.
I'm not who I used to be. It takes a minute.
Oh, you know what?
after-
Actually, it'd be very hard for it to be 2 women right now.
Yeah, we
I was gonna
a
say.
No,
remarkably small number of women left.
Look, this is all like out of time. I've been wandering around since you guys were looking at the body.
Sure.
Like,
It's tomorrow.
I can still have 2 women arguing. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
Mavis has been MIA for like most of this. But it was just like, like saw some water droplets and was like,
And
They're
then
busy.
she's just
they're busy. I'm gonna go.
Walk around.
She never did find where the water went.
I mean, she went in the house and stopped at some point.
Well, once it was in like the theater room, like there was carpet, right? Like
Yeah.
how much
soaked it
farther
up.
can it go? It's gonna soak the carpet and then stop there. I think one of the things you find is on the shelf, there is a piece of twisted metal.
Mhm.
And then next to it, there's hung around it, there's like several old newspaper clippings.
Would this be a void clue?
Yes, it would. In the spring of 1942, wreckage from a Nazi U-boat washed ashore at Brindlewood Bay. The U-boat appeared to have been torn to pieces, literally ripped apart, and some of the interior bulkheads had strange occult symbols scrawled all over them. No bodies ever turned up, but there was one reported survivor, a Nazi submariner whose mind was shattered and who committed suicide by repeatedly slamming his head into a wall shortly after being detained. The U.S. government gathered the pieces of the wreckage before it could become a major story in the newspapers, which should be listed, shouldn't be newspaper stories, but it's there, right? Like there's information to convey that story to you.
Mhm.
It was supposed to be kept out of newspapers, but little do they know, people in Brindlewood Bay do not listen.
They publish very fast.
It's all these investigative minds just around.
Well, see, the wild thing is that they didn't even know what the story about the piece of metal was, and they had already printed the story. It just happened to be right.
Mhm.
This is like the
Um,
Inquirer.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like this chunk of like twisted metal, and there's like the edge of like a sigil like carved into it.
Hmm,
Mm.
that's normal.
Yeah, it's New England in the fall. It's when the
How many-
old Nazi
how many-
U-boat pieces covered in occult runes show up.
All right. How many clues are we up to?
We are at 6 regular clues and 2 void clues.
Okay. To you guys, we should probably theorize soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're getting to that point to where if we keep going, we're gonna have such a high plus that we just get it in one, and that's significantly less fun than mucking it up once or twice.
Mm.
Do we want to theorize like once tonight? And
Cliffhanger it.
yeah. Because it's getting kind of late.
Yeah, it is. I meant to be asked about that. I think if Opal, you are still kind of like pinned in that room with June. Who came
No,
from
that's
somewhere?
Irene or Francis. That's
I'm pinned in there with Francis.
Oh,
yeah.
Francis. Okay, yes. No, sorry.
Or
Opal's
With
in the
June.
kitchen.
with June.
Yeah.
With June. My apologies.
Yeah.
So I have a plan. If you're down for it, Mike.
Does it involve body slamming, or is this you're going to try to meddle and get information from her?
I'm going to try and meddle and get information out. But the first thing I need to do is clear this pesky error, right? Where she catches me in this room that I'm not supposed to be in.
Okay.
Could I don a Crown of the Queen now? And then do a move. I don't mind that she caught me. I want it to not be bad that I was in this room.
I think we have to do the move first.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like,
so I mean, do the Crown of the Queen in response to the last thing that happened, where she catches me in the room.
oh.
I don't mind that she caught me. I want it to not. I have an idea on how to make it not
Okay.
bad that I'm in this room.
Okay.
To excuse the whole thing.
Okay, that makes more sense to me now. Yeah.
Okay. And so the crown I was going to go for is a scene in the present day showing a burgeoning romance. And this is my out, the whole situation.
Okay.
The scene is that Frances is in her, like, in her fine splendor, and she's at that bar at the marina getting served drinks by Chris. And there's this like moment where she's asking him, has anybody ever painted you? He's like, no, nobody's ever painted me. And she says, you should come by the studio sometime. I would love to paint you. And in this moment, now that June has caught her, right, she says, oh, Chris, darling, a painting partner, of course. I found what you're looking for, some drinks, and I have your medication here. And he comes in because she was on the hunt to help him out, right? And I want this scene to kind of throw June off a little bit, that there's clearly some kind of familiarity here between these two, some sort of chemistry going on. And Frances will, in her kind of, she's got this Frank Columbo thing going on, where she's just kind of ridiculous, and yet still somehow like flummoxes these rich and famous, these hoity-toity actresses, right? Yep. And she is going to meddle with June to try and get information out of June by being like overly comfortable with this very young strapping waiter, right? And use that as just leverage to get, through calm disposition, get her to be too forthcoming on a piece of information about this whole situation.
Okay.
And if I could potentially do that in my Sonny Crockett special outfit so that I can roll advantage on this roll, that'd be super dope.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We're gonna Sonny Crockett and Frank Columbo it at the same time.
Because I hear we're about done.
Do it.
I don't want to
Do
use
it.
all my moves.
Go for it. All right.
Awesome. And I have to undermine society at some point, or undermine authority at some point. So I hope this is it.
Oh, then June Willoughby, the local artificially genteel rich woman, is totally an option, right? Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you for seeing where I'm going with all this. So I'm gonna roll 3d6.
Mhm.
Because it's with advantage, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Yes. Oh my god, yes. All right. So it's a 554 on the dice. So it's 10.
So it's 10. Okay.
And then since I'm using composure, it's +2. It's 12.
It's 12. Okay.
Which with Frank Colombo, I get an additional regular clue no matter what. But if I roll a 12, I get an additional void clue too.
So you get 2 clues and 2 void clues. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me stack all my moves.
Ethan said, "Hey, let's start theorizing before we get too many clues."
Yeah, I know. And I was like,
That
but I gotta
Dave
use my
said,
powers.
Hang on a second. Here's
gotta
2 more
get-
clues.
I got a room full of drinks. Hold them while I do this thing.
All right. I think one, you find a pair of muddy boots here in the office underneath the desk.
Okay.
June was like backed up against the door and like seeing you guys having this conversation and like getting it's like, oh, well, I don't think we're supposed to be up here for the party, and Sheriff Dalrymple wouldn't approve, but like she's like, she gets a little flummoxed and like she bumps against a cart as she's like trying to leave. And when she does that after she's left the room on the ground, you notice there's an envelope. And in the envelope is a steamy love letter that is unsigned.
It's actually Francis to Chris, but she didn't mean to drop it.
It's mine.
Oh, Chris here.
Oh my god. Wait. So was it dropped by June, or it was revealed as having always been under this cart?
You only noticed it after June left. Right.
Steamy.
Whether June dropped it, whether it was on the cart, up in the air, right? Let's see. What else can I do to traumatize you, though?
Right. 2 things.
Let's see. So one, I think that Chris is like, he plays along with what you said, and then kind of like, okay, all right, so I'm glad whatever was going on there worked out, but I got to get back downstairs. I got drinks to serve. Thanks.
We have to stop
Looking
like
forward
this.
to my next session to continue working on the portrait. This time I'll bring a hanger for the pants. Don't worry, so they're not lying on the floor.
There's definitely a scene during that, like showing the burgeoning romance, where it is just Chris Hemsworth reclining, but his pelvis is covered by the painting, and then we see you painting it, and it's him reclining, and then your head just covers the pelvis area. So it's like it's very discreet.
But very specifically placed.
Yeah.
There's also like a dark wine poured too, right? That they're both drinking. Like
There's so much
there's
wine.
definitely clues that there is more going on here.
Right. Yeah.
There's one of those like perfectly coordinated like camera pans where like, all right, let's take a 10-minute break, and he stands up, and that's when like you hold up the glass of wine, so it's Okay, so looking out the window here.
Wine, one with lipstick. That's a classic. Like, oh, they're having wine. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think looking out the window here after Chris leaves, you can see that it's late October in New England. It's chilly out, and that pool down there must be heated because there's a lot of mist there. And then from that mist down below, For a minute, it kind of looks like there's a dark shadow within it, and then it looks like it's like a figure standing in the middle of the pool. And it kind of like turns and like faces the window as you're looking at it. And that's when Sheriff Dalrymple walks into the room behind you. Like kind of like
Oh my God.
what like something else happens and you break it. Like you glance out the window and it's gone. But Sheriff Dalrymple will be like, oh, I really wanted everybody to stay downstairs where we can keep an eye on everybody. Come on back downstairs here as soon as you're able to.
Of course, Chef, but do you, are people still swimming in the pool?
No, nobody's been swimming all night. No.
Are you quite certain? You're certain that nobody's been in the pool tonight?
Like, yes, nobody's been down there. And I think as he'll
Okay.
be like, just come downstairs, when you're able. You shouldn't be up here. And he will turn around and
she
he
like
will.
clearly needs to take a seat, and like she finds that like that little bench, that's in those kinds of offices, and she sits and like kind of leans and is like, okay, yep, I will be downstairs shortly.
Okay.
And she looks very
And
worried.
he turns, and as he's trying to leave, he bumps up against like one of the bookshelves there, and you hear like the sound of fabric tearing. And his like plaid snap-up shirt with like little pearl buttons for his costume here, tears from like the shoulder across like part of the back of his shoulder blade. And underneath, it doesn't look like it's a tattoo. It looks more like it's like a birthmark, kind of like a coloration. But it is, when you were in Faversham, there were several times that we saw this like kind of, it looks kind of like an eye drawn in like all straight lines to be very angular, like it was in stained glass in a couple different places and stuff
Right.
up there. And on the back of his shoulder, he has that same symbol.
He's been part of it all along.
I think I'm gonna, when he leaves, I think I'm gonna be sick in the can. I think she's just gonna go ahead and just get sick in that trash can that's in this office. And there's like pill bottles and shit in there, I'm sure. It's probably not good. Not a good scene, but yeah, she's gonna take a minute.
Yeah, is there anything else that we want to hit before we like, throw up the to be continued screen? Do we
So I
want
think
to
it's a good place
theorize? Or do we want
I
to
think
wait for
that
next
I think
time?
that's a pretty good. I think the weird void birthmark's a pretty good button
Yeah.
for the episode too, and just as good as a theorize.
Yeah, because it fades to black, and then we see the title card to be continued.
Yeah. I
And
think
all
it's
the
good.
people who are fans of the show are like, what?
No.
Sheriff Dalrymple? Oh, be careful when you're driving around. Sheriff Dalrymple? Like, yeah.
He was born into this.
Get those witch marks, baby. Let's go.
Cool. Yeah, then we'll take a break here. Or we will end our session here.
It's gonna be
and then
a 10 to 15 minute break, and we definitely won't be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just stay here. It'll say the stream's offline. Don't believe it.
Mhm.
Just keep waiting. Stay right here.
Eventually, AutoHost will do something.
Yeah. You'll get to watch it again. Also, just when that sign does end and Brindlewood Bay is live again, it will be on Monday the 25th because we had to move that day.
Monday or Tuesday?
I have Monday.
It's a Monday.
I believe it is a Monday. Yep. Monday.
That's
Okay.
that's what the yield calendar says, Mike.
Does that work, Mike?
Yeah. No, that's fine. I thought it was Tuesday, but Monday is better.
I was gonna say.
I got too many games to try to figure out now. So yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah. You're like, oh, good, another game for me to figure out. Awesome, great.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting that I'm going to be out of town for the last weekend in the month, and then I finally remember enough times to clear all my stuff.
Start moving things around. Yeah, it's all good. So hey, folks, Brindlewood Bay.
Ooh,
right?
we
You what's up?
end of session. So we need to
Oh, we get
check
yeah,
to see
get
how
cookies.
successful
Yes.
everyone.
Oh yeah.
I want cookies, please.
Yeah, this isn't red markets where the only thing you get at the end of the session is sadness. Like you
Yeah.
actually get
Yeah.
I'm used to a lot of sadness.
I didn't hit
Uh,
either of mine. So
One of the things, one of yours was
yeah,
Okay.
mine are share a memory of a late family member and share your wisdom with a young person.
Oh, I thought you nearly shared wisdom with a young person when you were reassuring the maid.
Mrs. White.
And you told
Yeah.
them how to take care of those masks.
Sure. And we had a 10-minute long conversation about
I
words that
think-
start with con.
Yes.
And others. I think that counts. That's kind of I was getting a big share wisdom with a young person vibe from your
Thank you,
conversation
Andy.
with.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
like-
Even though
You're like, oh, you young people think you know wit. Here's some wit.
Is that cool, Mike?
yes.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
you
We're here to campaign for each other's XP. Okay.
I don't
This is the
know.
second game. After Brindlewood Bay is we campaign for each other's XP.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is the real game. We all didn't realize.
Mhm.
This is where the
This is
adventure
the
actually
climax of the game.
starts.
This is the final conflict.
It's more brutal than diplomacy can ever dream of being. It's
Mhm.
So I will say, I don't think I necessarily got a chance to show someone that I've still got it. I don't think I did that.
Okay.
I didn't get to throw knives or anything. But I did deliberately try to share wisdom with a young person when letting Chris know how to deal with a scene. How to step in and be the calm port in the storm.
Okay.
So if that sounds good, I'd like that to be my XP.
yes, absolutely.
So I think having too much champagne and wandering off into a weird part of the house is definitely something that a woman half Mavis's age would do.
Yes.
And the fact that I still managed to find several clues, I think would indicate that I've still got it.
Whatever it is, it's
You
Whatever
got
it is, I do have it.
And the
Okay,
fact
so
that
that's-
Mavis was walking up the stairs and she's like, ooh, I wonder if that's the master bedroom. If it's the master bedroom, bet it's gonna have a sex swing. And then she opens the door and there's the sex swing.
There it is.
Right there. Just,
Yes.
Called it.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel good about it. I take an advancement.
yes.
Increase an ability modifier.
Okay.
how much XP you did. Oh, I see. You're looking at the. I get it.
Increase my presence.
I definitely showed somebody that I still got it.
Yes.
Like I know I did that one.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You practically got it, but yes.
Undermine authority of a local official. I was trying to do that early on, but Sheriff Dalrymple was just so eager to be undermined that it was like, okay, well, I didn't give much of a chance.
You're not making it fun.
Yeah.
I want you to struggle.
So I don't know if I really undermined any authorities there, but yeah.
I think out of all of us, you're the one who gets it the most, apparently.
I did take a queen crown to make sure that was cinched.
Mm.
Cool. All right.
Sweet.
Well,
Then back.
tomorrow night.
25th. Tomorrow night. Project Galileo, Trophy Dark. It is actually another Trophy Dark scenario by the same folks who wrote North Pole Land.
Oh, cool.
So,
Cool.
yeah,
That'll be really good.
there was some different spins on it there.
So yeah,
All
and
right.
then
That's it.
obviously we have a bunch of other stuff going on in our future. So of course, stay tuned. We've got our Twitters up and our Instagrams up where we announce all of these things. As soon as video on demand is live on YouTube, you get announcements. As soon as we go live here, you get announcements. So make sure you're watching us in those places.
Slap that subscribe button there, right?
There it is. There it is.
Ring that bell.
Ring the bell. Let us raid.
Nope, we don't have any of those.
Yeah, right.
I-
Let us raid Mr. 20 Sides to Every Story. Playing some Dungeons and Dragons tonight.
Okay.
And yeah, we're gonna. Oh, it looks like they're playing like old school D&D. I don't know. I
Nice.
bet it's new school. I bet it's new school. They just have an old school looking book. I bet that's fake news. I bet it's like a. That's really. All right, here we go.
People
gonna
don't
go-
actually play the old version. Come on. that's
No,
not
only
that-
we play the old version. I know this. When you see it at Gen Con, it's us.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're gonna go raid these folks and give them some love. So everybody, thanks a ton for tuning in to High Shelf Collective as we start off another Brindlewood Bay mystery, and we'll finish it next time for sure.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Or die trying, right?
It is nighttime.
I am
Yeah,
going
is
to
nighttime.
Yeah.
kill every member of this party.
Irene has been a sleeper agent
Best
for the Great Eye this
49 I've
entire
spent.
time.
Yep.
All right, everybody. We're gonna sign off here. As always, have fun and play well.
May all your rolls be crits.
Bye.